you doing? It's Hayden Williams here, and it's the Man in the Mirror podcast. It's a show where each week I talk to a male guest and we discuss his life, his work. We get into self-care, self-image, grooming. I have a little sneaky peek in his bathroom cabinet, find out about some of the products in his morning and evening routine. And I ask him about the man that looks back at him in the mirror and what he thinks about what he sees. Now, something a little bit different this week. I often talk about man in the mirror being on the road and sometimes heading to hotels or shops in London or, getting to get out and meet some of the guests. But this was the first time I went internationally, and I went to Barcelona as a guest of the Santa Eulalia Perfume brand. And I got to meet the president, Jil Sander, and spend some time with him. I had 2 days in Barcelona. It was a wonderful trip. And I should tell you a bit about Santa Eulalia. You might have seen it if you've been to the city. If you don't know it, it's a multi-brand department store. It was founded in 1843. Santa Eulalia have a beautiful range of perfumes. They also sell other brands in their perfumery in the department store. But as I said, it's a multi-brand store set over several floors, all kinds of designers in there, such as Tom Ford and Alexander McQueen, Balenciaga, Victoria Beckham, Jil Sander, Chloe, Off-White, all kinds of things. But what's interesting is they also have their own brands. They make made-to-measure bespoke suits for men. They also have women's wear as well. And there's such a rich history with the store. They've had fashion shows there, and you can see it in the fabric of the building. There's posters and images all over from the 1920s and different periods in the store's history. And to say they had fashion shows there, and they still do to this day. But it's interesting because it's a working. I had a tour around, and there's still pattern cutters and tailors in there. There's a whole area for made-to-measure suits, and they're made in-house right there. So I think, it was a really, really interesting trip and a way to immerse myself in the Santa Eulalia perfume brand. The Business of Fashion have called the Santa Eulalia men's store one of the best in the world. So there you go. I mean, it's the kind of designers they have in there. It's curated really well. But my trip was really to discover more about Santa Eulalia perfumes, which are also available here in the UK in Liberty. Lewis explained that fragrance has long been part of the Santa Eulalia history. There was a cologne that they did for men way back in the last century. Then for a little while they were licensed out, but more recently the brand have taken back control over the whole process and given the whole range a redesign and a refresh. They've also introduced a Forte collection of more high-strength extrait versions. So if I can set the scene for you, this interview took place in September in Barcelona in Jil Sander's office / boardroom, I guess. There's a beautiful boardroom table. And on a bookcase by the side of the table, there's framed pictures of former Spanish kings, Barcelona footballers, basically the great and the good of Spanish society. And Lewis was very generous with his time, and it was great to spend some time. I think you're really going to enjoy this interview. I should say that I didn't take my big, heavy microphone, so we did this with lapel mics. So apologies if the sound quality is not up to my usual standard, but I hope you'll understand and enjoy this conversation. It's Jil Sander, the president of Santa Eulalia and Santa Eulalia Perfumes, talking to me, Hayden, on Man in the Mirror. Let's go. So I'm here with Jil Sander, who is the president of Santa Eulalia, and I've been lucky enough to be invited to Barcelona to experience the brand and find out more about the fragrances. Lewis, welcome to Man in the Mirror. Thank you so much for doing this. It's very kind of you.
Thank you for having me here. Thank you very much.
And I'm actually lucky enough to be in Lewis's office, and I've got to see behind the scenes, and we're sat at a beautiful board table. And what's incredible about this brand is there's history all through the store, and the brand itself was set up in the
1843.
43,
so 182 years ago.
So it's been going a very long time, and the fabric of the building displays all of the different eras of the stores, and there's some gorgeous artwork from the 1920s, and there's mannequins everywhere, and there's marquetry and woodwork that's absolutely beautiful, and I think it's a fairly unique store, and whilst there's history everywhere, it is also a shop that has lots of contemporary designers, both in menswear and women's wear, and of course in fragrance. But I'd love, first of all, just to know a little bit more about the brand, I suppose. And why do you think Santa Eulalia has stood the test of time?
I mean, in a way, when we renewed the store like 13, 14 years ago, we wanted to do a new store, of course, but to keep the heritage of the brand. For me, it's very important when you enter the store, you feel that it's something different. I mean, it's a store with a history, a store with a story to tell. And I think now the world is getting very similar. You go to every city, you see the same stores everywhere. In some cities are nicer, in some other cities are not so nice, but more or less it's the same everywhere. Department stores, the monobrand stores, even fragrance stores look the same. And we want to be different. We want to be unique. And we have a unique story to tell. And I wanted that as soon as you enter the store, you can feel that history and that sense of uniqueness.
I think you absolutely can. It seems to be everywhere, yet there's still a coherence to the way all the products are merchandised. They say that there's all kinds of incredible brands, and sort of spotted Yves Saint Laurent and Victoria Beckham and all kinds of brands. But it must be. We talked a little bit earlier about that challenge of making sure those brands have their correct place and they are displayed beautifully, but also you keep the consistency of your brand, which must be the challenge, I suppose.
Exactly.
And this is a family-owned business, Luis. Did you think you would always come into the Santa Eulalia brand? Did you know you would always take on this role?
I mean, in a way, I'm the seventh generation running the business. So that, in a way, when I was young, I was thinking that someday I might be joining the business.
Yeah.
But the story came in a different way because I was studying business administration. I was in my fourth year with 23 years of age, and suddenly my father passed away. And
when you were quite a young man then?
I mean, 23 years of age.
Yeah.
So the following day, the next day of the funeral, my grandfather said, "Luis, I want to talk to you." So I went to his office and he said, "Luis, I would love that you can continue the business. Of course, you're not forced to do it. If you say no, we'll find someone to do it, to do the job. But I would love you could be the one." And I said, "Grandpa, I mean, if you support me, I can go for that. I mean, it's going to be a challenge for me.
What a big undertaking.
But I mean, I'm willing to try." I mean, and he told me a story that I didn't know at that moment, that also he took over the business when he was 22 as well. Because his father passed away at the same age as, I mean, he was 22, I was 22.
Yeah.
So in a way, the story came back. It was more or less a parallel story. So I said, since then, I'm the president, the CEO, and the person in charge of the store.
What does the Santa Eulalia brand mean to you? What do you think it represents?
I mean, in a way, we are the oldest store, the oldest fashion store in Barcelona. Mm. We were born next to the Ramblas, and then we moved here in 1944, and we were the first in do a catwalk show in the city in 1926. So in a way, our history is linked to the history of the city.
Yes.
And also being the first in doing a catwalk show, and then one of the very few to do haute couture in those days, in the glorious days of the 50s and 60s, when haute couture was blooming. And then being one of the very few with a bespoke tailor shop, that we still do bespoke
jackets. I got to see it downstairs in the basement. There's still pattern cutters and there's still people doing that work.
Which is very unique. I mean, you have very few stores in Europe, I have to say, that keep doing bespoke tailoring, as they used to do in the past. So in a way, that's a very unique situation. And above all, also, fashion is about looking forward, not looking backwards. Yes. So I was very committed to bring also new brands, new energy, and to bring the trends in fashion to the store. So while we have kept the heritage, the bespoke, the tailoring, all that history, I wanted to also have the trends of each season in the store. So we're betting on the best designers, emerging designers, better established designers, but always in fashion and in trend. And this balance makes us quite unique.
Yeah, and that must rely, keeping up with the trends must rely on having the very best buyers and having people who've got the right eye to see what's new, what's coming, and what's fresh. So you must have a great team around you to do that work.
I mean, we have three in the men's buying team, myself with two more people, and in the women's buying team is my wife. Again, with another buyer.
Yeah.
So we are involved also in the buying because it's one of the keys to keep the store special is the way of buying. I mean, the eye of the buying team.
Yeah.
So we want to be involved, my wife and myself.
And your customers end up trusting you, don't they? If they want to come into the store and they know they're going to see something fresh and exciting, and that trust builds up over time. So I'm here also to learn about the Santa Eulalia fragrances, and it feels like there's been a refresh of the whole brand. I mean, it looks very contemporary now, whilst keeping some of those icons from the Santa Eulalia brand of the past. What's been happening in fragrance with Santa Eulalia? I mean, it feels like a great fit for the store, but tell me about the range as it stands now.
In 1947, my grandfather decided to launch an eau de cologne.
Oh, really?
That was very famous on those days. And we was sold, in different bottles.
That's not available now?
No. I mean, we stopped. We stopped in the late 1900s. But it was very unique. I mean, people loved it for decades.
Yeah.
And then when I was in charge of the store, we were still producing it and selling it, and customers loved it. But we decided to stop in 1995, I think. Mm-hmm. And then 20 years later, in 2014, we decided to launch a fragrance line, because always fragrances have been very linked, in a way, hand by hand with fashion.
Yeah.
In a way. I mean,
and did you sell other brands in the meantime?
Yes. But it was a small business on those days, because it was very much in hands of big corporations and big names. But we were starting to spot that the niche perfumery was there. No? I mean, a renewed interest by our customers to see new brands, new emerging perfumers as well. So we decided to create our own brands that, of course, in a way, it was linked to that past year of 1947 when we launched the first eau de cologne. And we started with 4 fragrances. One of them was an immediate success, and then the brand began to grow. It was made through a license of an Italian maker, but the license ended up in 2024, and we decided to do everything
to bring it back in,
to bring everything in, and to set a team and to manage everything ourselves. And since then, it's been challenging in a way, because it was a new business for us in a way, but a new business, but already existing business, because we've been more than 10 years with the fragrance line.
But then you could take more control and have more ownership of how you develop it.
Exactly.
And part of that development has been the Forte line, which is more intense, more powerful, more extrait fragrances. So part of this trip is to learn a little bit more about is there three fragrances in the Forte line? So is that about keeping up with this trend for slightly more intense fragrances?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, we see that. I mean, we see a lot of interest in fragrances in general for young people. I mean, we see lots of young people coming to the store to explore the fragrances.
It's exactly the same in the UK too. Teenagers are getting, because of TikTok and social media, getting much more interested.
Exactly. And they love to, I mean, in the old days, you put a fragrance and you stay with the whole day, and maybe you don't change. And now, I mean, you see young people having lots of different fragrances in the bathroom and changing them and exploring and using them for special occasions, and they're looking for something stronger in general.
Yeah.
So for that reason, we thought it would be nice to launch the Forte collection, meaning this is an extract of the best fragrances. I mean, the strongest fragrances. And it's doing, I mean, it's just launching now.
Brand new.
But exactly. But we're very confident it's going to work.
And there's the 175 fragrance that's one of your signatures, which I loved and got to try more recently. And that's coming in a Forte version as well.
Exactly.
I think it's going to do really well. And I must say as well, I mean, I had a brief look in the perfumery area, and the same quality of curation and buying applies in fragrance too, because you have some excellent partner brother-sister brands alongside the Santa Eulalia brands. You know, I noticed Maison Crivelli and Amouage and lots of Kilian, lots of brands that people would know. And it seems like they're good bedfellows to be next to your own brand. Yet Santa Eulalia was front and center on the main cabinet. And I imagine if there's people who enjoy coming to the store and enjoy the Santa Eulalia brand, having that affinity with your own fragrances, there's probably people who are fans of the brand who want to wear it as a fragrance too.
Yes, because we also have our own brands selling in the store of ready to wear.
Yes,
in men's and women's. Particularly in men's, but also in women's. I mean, we have all these. Let's say we have our own brand and the brand of designers, and people. We see a lot of interest in our own brands. The brand of designers, you can buy it everywhere, but our brand only here. And in the fragrance, in a way, is something similar. I mean, they come here also to explore the brands of the best perfumers of the moment, but also they enjoy seeing a brand from here.
Yeah.
And that has brought a lot of interest.
Fantastic. Well, part of Man in the Mirror is finding out about my guests, about their work and their life, but also having a little sneak in their bathroom cabinets and finding out about some of the products that are in your morning and evening routine. So I wonder with you, Lewis, I mean, I'm sure you have access, obviously, to some home fragrance and fragrance within the store, but how about your skincare and your grooming routine? Have you developed products that you've become loyal to over the years? What does your routine look like?
I mean, one of the things I love the best is about shaving.
Yes.
And I have
shaving
every day. I have a shaving brush that I bought in London, in Truefit Hill.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, in fact, Truefit Hill and featured on the podcast before. But yeah, what a beautiful, what great traditional barber.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I used to use a soap that was a Scottish soap. It was called Castle Forbes, but then they stopped selling it in Spain, and I couldn't find it any longer. Oh, okay. And now I buy an Italian one, Proraso, always the same, with lavender. And
you put it in a bowl.
Exactly. Put it in a bowl. So this kind of ritual.
Yes.
I love it.
Well, it is. There is something, ritualistic, and it feels, these moments that are just for you and become part of our routines.
Not always the same fragrance in the barber soap.
Yeah.
So in a way, I mean, I like it. I have never used the electric machine. I think it's very, I like it. I think much better the idea of making the soap and putting the soap on your face and smelling the fragrance and then shaving little by little.
You're very, very smart, very dapper man, Lewis. I wonder, have you always shaved every day? Have you ever let a beard? Have you ever had a beard?
Only once, because I traveled to India.
Yes.
And then,
more
for a long time, I thought it was much better not to shave myself.
How did you like the beard?
Not so much. The bro was taking it out when I came back.
Yeah. And do you have any other products that you like to use? Are you a man who uses moisturizers and particular hair products?
No, just like the aftershave lotion.
Yep.
And that would be it. And of course, the fragrance every morning.
And are you someone that has a signature fragrance, or do you like to have a fragrance wardrobe for different occasions?
I use several. For everyday use when I go to work, I use 175. I think it's a very elegant. Very, let's say, elegant and I wouldn't say serious, but something that complements.
It has some presence.
In a way. The proper man.
It has some power to it.
So I like the atmosphere of dressing well. I think that accompanies a well-dressed man in a way.
Yes.
175.
And you're the person that's the symbol, I suppose, of this store and this brand. So, yeah, I imagine you feel a certain responsibility to dress a certain way. And maybe the fragrance is the finishing touch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the way I feel. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then for going on at night, I like in winter, I like very much Obscuro. For a party, for a dinner party.
More light.
I mean, it's exactly. I think it's more exciting to use it. And in summertime, in mornings, I mean, particularly on weekends when I'm on vacation, I love Marilis. The breeze of the Mediterranean and something fresher in the morning. Like switching. Also citric, I like it very much.
I like that you're loyal to your own brand. That's right. The name of the podcast is Man in the Mirror, and part of my thinking is that morning routine when you get to spend some time, doing your shave and you're looking in the mirror. I wonder what you think about the man that looks back at you. How do you feel when you look in the mirror these days? Are you happy with what you see?
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm always saying that I'm 60 years of age, and I look at myself and say, I'm still young in a way. So I'm young of a spirit.
You seem like you have quite a positive, we only met today, but you seem like you have a positive and upbeat, optimistic view on life.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes. When I wake up, I'm happy. I'm happy to go to work. Happy to start the day.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. Usually when I see myself at the mirror, I'm happy. And
I suppose, again, that idea of being the figurehead for this brand, I imagine if you can set the tone of the energy and the optimism, that's probably helpful to everyone here.
Exactly, to the whole organization. And then also, it translates to the customers.
Absolutely.
In the way. Yeah. I mean, when they see me greeting customers, talking to customers in a nice way, being happy to be here, really is contagious. So you see the other salesmen in the store, sales associates, feel also this positive energy.
And is that important to you, to be visible in the store and to be an owner that's out there and on the shop floor, if you like?
In a way, because now that the whole world is getting too corporate, to see businesses with an owner that is there, being that the restaurant or the store you buy the clothes at, or being whatever. I mean, any kind of store or any kind of business, if you see the owner there, it brings like a personal touch. Because now it's so difficult to meet owners.
Yes.
I mean, it's getting so feels like you mean managers, but you don't meet owners.
Or these big stores that are owned by some sort of venture capital brand that no one ever knows, or just lives online. I think that, we are craving, after lockdown and all that, actually that physical connection with a shop owner, or just to go in somewhere and get some advice, or imagine, for me, getting to go downstairs and talk about menswear and talk about made to measure. It's important to do that it's much better to do face to face.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. And finally, Lewis, I wonder, what are the things that bring you happiness and joy, perhaps outside of the workplace?
I mean, my family. I have triplets. Three sons,
How old are
22 years of age.
Right.
And they live with us. They've been studying abroad, but they came back home, and now they start to work now.
And is your home in Barcelona?
It's in Barcelona, yes. Yes, in 15 minutes drive from the store, so it's close to here. And I enjoy having dinner with them and spending weekends with them, also with my wife, of course. And then we have a house in the Pyrenees, in the mountains. And one of my hobbies is to take care of the garden. And I love roses. Particularly English roses.
Yes.
So I take care of them. Always, the first thing I go when I go there on Friday evening, the first thing I do is to check
the roses.
Rose garden.
Do you have a sense that your sons will want to stay involved in the company? Do you think there's interest?
I mean, two of them are not really interested because they've studied engineering, they're much more into engineering, so they don't really care about fashion stores or whatever. But there is a third that started business administration. Now is working in a consultancy firm. So for the moment, she's not joining the business, but also I'm young. I'm young. I'm 60, so I have some energy to.
But you joined the company at a similar age, didn't you?
Yes, but because of
tragic reasons.
Exactly, for tragic reasons. Yeah. Because I think it's too early. They have to work elsewhere.
Yes, and get some life experience.
Exactly. The proper thing to do is to get experience elsewhere and then
bring that in.
Exactly. Join the family business with another perspective. I didn't have the chance to do that because of the sudden death of my father. But the proper thing to do is to get experience elsewhere and then come back if he wants. I mean, of course, he has to feel free to do whatever he wants.
He's got to feel the passion, I guess.
But if he wants to join the business, he'll be welcome, of course.
You know, you were talking about making sure the business is looking to the future and looking forward. Then I suppose, you know, that it would be great if one of the sons came and brought ideas from other places and make sure it's fit for the future.
Of course. Yeah, in my case, it would be a dream. Otherwise, I mean, in a family business, I'm the seventh generation running the business. It would be a pity to stop it now.
Yes.
But in a way, I don't want to oblige my son either.
Yeah.
So it's up to him. Yeah. But let's hope in some time he'll be willing to join the business. That would be fantastic for me.
Lewis, thank you so much for your time. And thank you for hosting us here in Barcelona in the store. And
thank you.
Thank you for being on.
Thank you, Hayden, for coming to Barcelona. Thank you for this interview. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure.
My thanks to Lewis for taking the time to chat with me on Man in the Mirror last month in Barcelona. I have to tell you, it was a wonderful trip, and Lewis, his sister Babette, the whole team there was so welcoming. And in fact, we had there's a restaurant within the Santa Eulalia store where we had dinner on the first night, and that was wonderful. And then actually Lewis, we said, oh, maybe we'll go for one more drink, the people that went on the trip. And then Lewis, you know, suggested a bar down the road and came with us and spent another hour together chatting over drink, which was such a lovely touch. And he certainly didn't need to do that. And he could have just gone home. But I never had the sense that it was an obligation. He was so hospitable, say, as the whole team were. And I'd love to go back. They were delightful. And I think what I took from that conversation is that, you know, the sense he has of the legacy and the history of the store, but also he's the boss, the president, but he actually enjoys retailing. He enjoys walking around the store, talking to customers, and, you know, he doesn't sit in some ivory tower. He's very much a modern retailer, and he's looking to the future as well. And it did feel like a different kind of department store, certainly nothing like some of the big London ones, which, you know, when they have those brand activations can sometimes, I don't know, obviously they're done really beautifully, but it can sometimes get a bit chaotic and messy, and then you know, all these different brand messages. But somehow, because the store was so beautifully laid out at Santa Eulalia, it never felt like the brands overshadowed the Santa Eulalia brand, if that makes sense. And perhaps that's because of some of the touches and some of the pieces that they've used from their old store, and, you know, the history and the story of the brand is woven into the fabric of the building, and there's a real cohesion to it. And yeah, look, if you get the chance and you're ever in the city, it's right opposite one of the Gaudi buildings, actually. But yeah, I mean, if you want to go and get designer gear for a start, I mean, all the best brands are in there. But just as a retail experience, I'm really interested in that part of it, and, you know, looking at how retail works, and they do it superbly. So, well worth a visit if you get the opportunity. If you want to find out more about the Santa Eulalia Perfumes, you can find them on Instagram, and they're at Santa Eulalia Perfumes. Let me spell that for you. It's SantaEulalia Perfumes. That's Santa Eulalia Perfumes. And online, it's santaeulaliaperfumes.com. As I mentioned, they're in Liberty in London and also on the Liberty website. And do check out the new Forte collection. If you want to find out more about Man in the Mirror, I'm at Man in the Mirror Pod on Instagram. You can find me also at You Smell Great What Is It on TikTok. And I also have an Instagram channel of that same name. Do drop me a line if there's guests you want me to talk to, or if you have any comments about the show. It's always great to hear from you. So thank you to Lewis. Really enjoyed chatting to him in Barcelona. Thank you to you as always. And I'll see you next time on Man in the Mirror. Until then, take care.